Hey y'all, it's Liz back again with another video, and today we're just gonna come out swinging. Are you protecting your peace or are you being emotionally avoidant? Sometimes when we block people, right, when they disrespect us, when we feel hurt, we do that in the sense of we're telling ourselves, "Oh, I'm protecting my peace. I'm leaving them where they disrespected me at this, is that, and dirt, blah, 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 blah." And as somebody who is one to, maybe I don't want to block, right? I block you, I block your friends, I block everybody because I leave you where you had me messed up. I had to realize that me waking up blocking somebody with no conversation also had something to do with the fact that I was throwing a tantrum and I wanted to punish that person from hurting me. So once all the emotions simmer down, I realized a lot of things that I wanted to have the conversation about with this person, I didn't because I just had them blocked, right? So, one thing that I am trying to do and one thing that I am trying to work on is my communication skills, because how can I say that I am wanting to be in a healthy relationship when all I know how to do is distance myself completely when I feel disrespected by someone? And that's why I say in today's society, it gets a bit tricky because we are very much on stand on business, protect your peace, block, delete, this, that, and the third. But there comes a point in time where sometimes you have to go through conflict with people and you have to work through that conflict and even converse through that conflict in order to get to a resolution. And something else that I want to add on top of that too is you can still block somebody even after having the conversation about how they had you messed up or how you felt about a certain situation, right? It's as if in today's time, it's the battle of who could be the most nonchalant, who could be the one that is the most less caring, the least caring of the two, who could be the one who is the most distant emotionally from it. And as somebody who went down that path, and like I said, it's something that I am consciously working on, it's because there would be people who I genuinely cared about in my life, but I felt disrespected to them to the point where I would not even have that conversation and I would just block them. And my mindset would be, you know what you did, you know what the issue was, you knew that you hurt me, you knew I didn't like this, you know I felt disrespected, and because you knew all of this, I'm just gonna block you. Okay, I blocked you, and then what? Right? And now I'm like, I did it, Liz. I'm protecting my peace. I'm standing on business. I did it. I did it. I did it. Okay, I'm saying that I'm protecting my peace, but the war is still ravaging inside of me, right? The pain is still ravaging inside of me. The hurt, the betrayal, all of that is still ravaging inside of me. And now it's a additional layer to it because now I have this pressure built up because I could not release it. And one thing that I have learned and one thing that I have found is the power of being able to articulate your emotions, the power of being able to tell somebody what they did and how it hurt you. Because as I've been on my journey, people have been doing things to me necessarily that have been, hurting me, that have been making me feel disrespected, that have been, yeah, y'all know how it goes. But I've been moving about it differently. I'm not giving people the silent treatment. I'm not giving them the cold shoulder. I'm not blocking them. It may take some time, but eventually I'm going to end up having this conversation with this person. And a lot of times the conversation would be like, hey, XYZ happened. And as a result, I'm feeling da 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 da. I'm not gonna lie, when you did this, I felt disrespected. And if you see me and like being distant, it's no bad blood, but you're not somebody that I can necessarily associate with. And then that's how typically, like, that's how I'll start off with a conversation. Because one thing that I'm learning and one thing that I am realizing is the importance of honoring myself, honoring my feelings, honoring my emotions, and giving myself the ability and being honest with myself to the point where it's just like, okay, Elizabeth, you have these feelings that you need to articulate, you have these feelings that you need to express. And just because you're bottling it up and you're holding it in on the sake of standing on business, on the sake of, oh, I blocked them, that's not helping you at the end of the day. And I'm not saying have conversations with these people for the sake of healing you, but at least have enough respect for yourself to let somebody know, when they hurt you. But again, that is something that can be situational because you got to take it with a grain of salt. Because some people, you can't really have conversations with them. I would say a lot of people, like when it's their first offense towards you. Because me, like I told you, when it was like the first offense, it wouldn't be the first offense to me, but it'll be the first offense to them. Like you would just wake up locked, right? And I'll be like, you know what you did. But that's not how we got to go about things. And then I had to really realize, like, I'm saying that I want a loving partnership. I'm wanting a loving relationship. I want to be with somebody who I could grow and I could build with. Baby, if I can't block my partner every time he gets me angry. I can't block my husband every time. If I don't start working on these things now, regardless of whether or not these conversations are going to go anywhere, it's just practice. Either way, if the person's gonna get blocked, they're gonna be blocked. It's cool, but might as well think about it like this: you might as well start practicing your communication skills if they're gonna get blocked. Either way it goes, because what are you really losing by expressing yourself? What are you losing by getting yourself comfortable of telling people when they had you messed up? You feel me? But I just, like I said, I kind of feel like in today's time, in today's society, we are very heavy on the nonchalant, the not expressing ourselves. I don't know since when or why it happened, but vulnerability has turned into a cuss word. Vulnerability has turned into this big taboo, and everybody wants to be walking around like we have no emotions. And that's probably what the problem is for real today. Everybody pretending like they don't have feelings. Everybody pretending that we all nonchalant kings and queens. And that's why we all walking around like low key state, because we don't know how to express ourselves as women, as men, because I don't know why, but vulnerability is seen as weak. But really sit up here and ask yourself, which one's easier to do? Is it easier to block him or her? Or is it easier to communicate somebody that, hey, what you did hurt me and made me feel disrespected? And as a result, I don't think I can continue on this path with you. Which one is harder? Let's be honest. Which one is easier? Because if we're being completely honest, it's so much easier to block somebody. It's so much easier to give somebody the silent treatment. It's so much easier to go about it as if it did not impact you. While on the sidelines, you are silently suffering because you did not give your space the need, or you did not give yourself, the ability to express yourself. And that's something that you deserve. What are you afraid of? If you're going to block them anyway, what's the issue? Right? So, yeah, like I said. And there was a situation where I blocked somebody. And realistically speaking, he was a very kind person to me. But what he did, or the situation, it made me feel extremely hurt. Deeper than that, it probably made me feel insecure. Deeper than that, it made me feel possibly disappointed. And rather than communicating that with him, I just blocked him because you had me messed up, right? And it's like full circle moment. Everybody became cool again. Homework guy, like he got unblocked or whatever the case may be, but the relationship was never the same again. And not saying that it's my fault or whatever, but I can take accountability in knowing that things could have possibly went different had I opened the room for the conversation the moment I felt some type of way, opposed to just blocking and then come back around like, oh, you know what? After I heard everything and I heard different sides of the story, and I realized, oh, okay, so it wasn't necessarily what I thought it was. So sometimes even with that is we let things prolong longer than what they need to be, and then there could be moments of irreconcilable or irreparable damages just because so much time has passed since the event, and understanding that you can be hurting somebody else too. So just kind of being mindful of all of that. And I know some people are like, okay, so what, Elizabeth? I don't care. Like, I want to hurt them too. Like, they hurt me, so why not hurt them back? But then you have to kind of realize that's you at that point going for tit for tat. Well, how you feel about going for tit and tat, that's on you. But on here and on my channel, I don't necessarily agree for tit for tat, because when you scoop down to somebody else's level, that changes who you are in your character. And we're all about elevating over here and doing better than we were yesterday. So I'm not one really for tit for tat. But I had to realize that I use blocking in my emotional arsenal in order to hurt other people and to protect myself. And it's hard to say because in the moment I genuinely thought that it was me protecting myself, but then I have to also realize I was using that as a form of retaliation, because like, okay, now I'm completely removing you from my energy, you no longer have access to me. How does that feel? Like, now you're going to really see how much you value me. But then when I really had to sit down with myself and think about it, I'm like, that's not right. And I just personally didn't feel like it's right. Don't get me wrong, some people, they do not deserve to have access to you or your energy, but the more I'm getting to know myself, the more that I know And I'm learning that I have to honor myself and let people know when they had me messed up. Because if I don't communicate that, I'm going to be carrying on the pain and the harboring the resentment and the hurt. And I'm just going to keep talking about it with other people when it's just conversations that I should have just had with that person. Regardless of how that conversation goes, there's no expectation from it. Either it could go to a part where there is reconciliation, or it could just go to a part where we go our separate ways. But either way it goes, just having that conversation, that difficult conversation, can teach you a lot about yourself. It can teach you a lot about other people. And ultimately, it helps you practice to having more effective and more healthy communication with people in the future. So, yeah, that's my little spiel today on blocking and healthy communication. Thank you for tuning in. As always, have a great day.